Well, it's been quite a day, quite a week for the Cape Town Stock Exchange, whose Chief Executive Eugene Booysen is with us. Also with us today is new listing on the CTSE, the Chief Executive of Gaia Fund Managers, who brought a brand new a REIT, which is a highly innovative product and focused area, Renier. But let's kick off with you, Eugene. The listing by Renier's business is now the ninth listing on the Cape Town Stock Exchange. How has the reception been from the Western Cape?
So from Western Cape government, City of Cape Town, Westgrow, all the agencies, everyone's been massively accommodated, made us feel hugely welcome in the mother city. But I think further to that as well, businesses, judging by the number of requests, invitations we've had, everyone's keen to give us a leg up. Everyone's been keen to come on board. I think they've embraced the idea of having a stock exchange and a debt exchange in the mother city. And yeah, we're gonna deliver on those promises and provide them with an exchange that allows us to grow out these businesses in the future.
You mentioned debt exchange. Have you had a debt listing yet?
So this week we listed our first formal listed debt. So we launched Capital Harvest. The issuer was Capital One. That was a agricultural listing, and it's one of the mechanisms to replace the underlying land bank and some of the failures at the land bank around cooperative finance. We think it's one of many in the near future, and we're looking to bed down our listed debt offering. We got our open market license at the end of August, and this has allowed us now to properly go out and prosecute the business opportunity in this space. We have the platform that makes it really simple and easy for underlying issuers and also for underlying investors to participate on the platform.
Renier, good to be picking up with you as well. This is not your first listing on the Cape Town Stock Exchange. Why there rather than the big brother up north?
Hi, Alec, and thanks for the opportunity. We've been working with Eugene and the team at Cape Town Stock Exchange for more than a year now, year and a half. Did our first listing with them, which was Gaia Renewables One in October last year. And I must say, if you're looking for an exchange platform and a team of people that are firstly open to innovative ideas, open to changing the static old way in which things were done, and able to look at different different ways of doing things, the Cape Town Stock Exchange is the place to be, and we welcome. It's great to have them in the mother city as well.
But what about the trade? Surely the idea is of any exchange, you've got to have lots of people buying and selling. Is there sufficient demand and supply?
So, Alec, our focus specifically at this stage is to provide our investors with a platform, a listed preference share in this case, which they can, is by an issue who is also listed. It's specifically focused on pension funds and collective investment schemes, and also high net worth individuals that can invest in the stock. It doesn't need to be traded on a daily basis. We're able to forecast what the prices are, and over time it will grow. We're not stopping here. We're not stopping at the first preference share. There are going to be many more of these. And over time, we'll have a platform that trades more regularly, and others will hold their shares for a long period of time.
So what exactly is the underlying asset?
So Gaia Fibonacci Fiber REIT 1 is investing, it's dedicated to investing in fiber network. So that's the infrastructure that basically carries the fiber to the home. And I mean, we're talking here from home. We know that without this fiber, we wouldn't be able to communicate. It really is a way. The world has changed so much with COVID and all of the changes over the last 2 years that if you haven't got good connectivity at home or at school or at your office, you're really going to be left behind. And what we're doing here is investing specifically in the networks, new areas, new residential estates that we're unlocking here. And what we do is we typically buy a network as soon as it's established and has a level of uptake that we're comfortable with.
Is it a competitive area?
It is a highly competitive area. There are a number of entrants and some of the large listed telecoms players in the space, also in the unlisted space. And we're at a stage. It's interesting. South Africa has about 15% of our people have internet access, and if you compare that to the rest of the world, developed markets are at 87%. On average, the world is at 78%. Those are the stats we're seeing. So we are far behind, and it is a bit of a land grab at the moment. So we're seeing, aggressive development out there. And with that aggressive development, you need a bit of a secondary market to really take this and grow it aggressively over the next 5 to 10 years. So it's an exciting space, Alec. It's competitive.
So what's the investment case, Renier? If I am now wanting to invest in the stock, in this new REIT?
Yeah, Alec, Gaia's main focus is on a number of areas. I mean, we firstly are ESG investors. We are investors that look to create a positive and sustainable impact on South Africa and its people. So that's our investment thesis, that we have a lens in terms of all the investments we make. Secondly, we're a strong team with experience that can act as the active asset managers for our investors. We then provide diversified opportunities, alternative assets that don't correlate to the market in a normal way. They provide you some inflation protection, and at the end of the day, it's all about having a tax efficient structure at competitive fees. So that is our main thesis of what we want to do with this investment.
And the yields that will be earned by investors, by shareholders and prospective shareholders?
So our investors they're investing in preference shares. We will declare dividends to our investors. It's obviously a tax efficient structure, so there's no tax within the REIT. And in that way, we're enhancing our yields. And our investors, our target is to return inflation plus 10% on our investments.
Wow, Eugene, that's pretty cool. Inflation plus 10%. Are these the kind of opportunities that you're specifically targeting at the Cape Town Stock Exchange?
Alex, I think it's more than just targeting that underlying yield. I think you ask yourself the question, how would I as an investor get access to some of these asset classes? And I think that's often the question that's forgotten. If we genuinely want to democratize that access, this is a mechanism to do it. It's to give them that access to this asset class. Right now, it's in the domain of largely private companies that are owning and unlocking this space. So the Cape Town Stock Exchange provides you an opportunity as an investor to partake in this asset class. And yes, the yields are attractive, and the go forward yields are attractive. And I think from a social perspective as well, the yield on the underlying investment is attractive.
So how do I go about opening an account and investing in this REIT? What's the process? Have you got brokers now that are linked to the Cape Town Stock Exchange?
Alec, we do. You can go onto our website, www.ctexchange.co.za, and you can click onto the Invest tab, and that will link you up with the broker. Open up your brokerage account, and you can invest in the counters on the Cape Town Stock Exchange.
Are they market makers, though? I think that's the important part. We saw recently Avenge was being trading between 5 cents and 6 cents, which is a 20% spread. And if you are going to want to buy into Renier's company, but if there's a huge spread between buyers and sellers, it'll be pretty difficult to do. And I guess that's probably why investors or some investors would be waiting on the sidelines to say, is there enough of a market for me not to have too big a gap or to be penalized if I want to invest in this way?
So I think it's a good point, Alec. Right now, we still, in terms of the size of the counters in that SME and mid-cap space, liquidity still remains the largest pre-getting or investment hurdle that investors have to overcome. We don't have any active market makers on the platform currently. We are in discussions introducing 2 new market makers to the platform that will then provide bid offer prices in those counters. But we only went live with open market at the end of September. So it will take some time for us to aggregate up more brokers to the platform. But we are already 2 times what we had a month ago, and we'll be 4 times that at the end of Feb. So I think we'll see ourselves gradually grow out, and we we hope for the same patience from investors as we grow out our liquidity. Market making will make one of the differences, but I think the bigger difference will, as we increase the number of increase the retail participation on the platform. That's your biggest driver and creator of secondary liquidity, is actually retail participation, not institutional participation.
Do you see that being some months still before you have retail participation, or are people starting to open accounts now?
So, Alec, they are. We already got currently 75,000 retail investors active on the platform, and we see that number increasing. So that's how many registry accounts we have participating in our counters. And our underlying brokers are also signing up significant amounts. We've also had Perisis now join the platform as an underlying broker, so they bring that institutional reach to the platform. And then we also saw TWK secondary list their counter and offering onto A2X, also providing them with an institutional access to their counter. So we think it grows out, and it's growing out faster than we anticipated.
Renier, just to close off on your side, this is your second listing on the Cape Town Stock Exchange. Have you got others in the pipeline?
We'd like to do many more, but I think it's important for us at this stage to really bed down those two listings, to grow it out. I mean, we've done our first few transactions, and really to expand this platform and this vehicle, bring in many more investors onto the platform, and from there we'll grow. So we have many innovations, but I think at some stage you have to say, let's focus a bit and let's do and make sure these ones work properly.